Why do you think it's important for women to awaken at this moment?
Because it's time. We've gone through this very dense and interesting human experience for, can't tell you the exact time, but a very long time, years and years and years. And the planet is shifting, the collective energy is shifting, there's a lot of things happening, and it's like the divine is calling on women to remember our power.
Welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and I'm extraordinarily honored to introduce you to women from around the world who have decided to make a change, not only in their lives, but in the lives of others. And because of that, they're game changers. I want you to know that today we're going to talk about something that's very interesting. What if your nail spa was more, it was a community? Very excited about that. Please subscribe, review us, go to cynthiajames.net and connect with me. And now let me introduce you to my guest, Lana Dang, multi-passionate entrepreneur, conscious business guide, and she is a multi-passionate entrepreneur who guides with over a decade of experience in sales, business development, and leadership, and she's managed and led large teams. Her path into entrepreneurship began through a relationship coaching business and has since expanded into owning and operating one of the top nail spas in Arizona. This is also interesting. She has immersed herself deeply in personal development and metaphysical study, exploring spirituality, human behavior, and conscious leadership. Lana, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Cynthia. I'm so excited.
Well, I want to start with how you grew up. You know, you probably didn't come on the planet thinking you were going to be an entrepreneur.
I definitely did not. Actually, it's one of my longtime jokes. People who know me really well, I tell them about how my dream as a child, I actually wanted to, you're going to laugh, I wanted to be an assassin. I literally dressed up as one for Halloween in the second grade. I think it was just all the movies, and it was this idea of, you know, when I would watch women assassins, they were like badasses.
Of course.
You know, and what it took for them to do that. And of course I had my rules, like I wouldn't kill women, or innocent people or children, any of that. So, but no, I had no idea in entrepreneurship that I wanted to go that route, even though my parents are entrepreneurs. They own nail salons.
Oh, they do? Mm-hmm. And you have siblings?
I do. I have two sisters.
Okay, so you go into business. I mean, you're leading large teams. I mean, you go into the business world. How'd you get there? What led you there?
Well, when you don't choose to go a certain path, I always think that spirit or this higher power, you came to earth knowing what your purpose is and what your path should be. When you veer off, you ultimately get guided back. Yes. Sometimes it's not pretty. But I started out with a sales career in college. I was doing an internship, and I actually ended up going into doing door-to-door sales, not very common for women. I worked on a team of 80 salespeople. I was the one woman on the sales team, and I was a manager also at that. But it was after college. So it was during college, I was in an internship, did door-to-door sales, and then I went to school to be a doctor. I had Asian immigrant parents and decided during college that I didn't want to be a doctor. So I started doing the sales thing and found out that I was really good at it. And then, of course, there was the opportunity to manage and lead people. So I went into that. After college, continued with that industry, and then realized door-to-door is not where I want to be. So I did that for about 8 years. Then I went into corporate sales thinking, okay, this is my break. I'm going to get a real big girl job. I did corporate sales for a few years, moved to California. I worked at a Fortune 500 company out in LA. And it was one of those things where I kept running into dead ends because I wanted to climb the ladder. I mean, I've always been really ambitious. So I wanted to go into management, leadership, you know, of course, naturally, the path you go into in sales is you climb the corporate ladder. You do what you need to do to try to grow up and up the ladder. And it just, none of the positions worked out for one way or another. Be it that, the people I was working with weren't really aligned with my values, or maybe their ethics weren't just people that I wanted to follow. Like, I remember I had leadership that I didn't look up to, or just the whole vibe of it was off, but I couldn't figure out why. And in 2018, I actually resigned from a position. And at that point, I was like, I don't think I'm employable. I remember having this moment of, I might not be someone who's supposed to work for people in this manner, right? Like in this way, collaboratively maybe, but so then I started a soul search and an exploration. And at that point, I hadn't even been awakened yet, as I would say.
Well, this is beautiful. So then there's this gap. It's like, okay, I've left this. I know there's something more. I don't know what that is. And so did you take tiny steps? Did you study? What did you do to start moving in the direction of where you are today?
Yeah, I would say it was maybe the course of, 2018 in the summer, I left that job. By the end of 2019, it was when I opened my nail spa business.
Oh, okay. Now your parents had a nail spa business. And so did you use that as a foundation to begin, or did you just kind of say, I'm doing my own thing?
The latter.
Okay.
100%. In fact, I wanted to really look away from what they were doing. And the interesting story about this industry is I grew up in it. So my parents own nail salons. Aunts and uncles, both sides of the family, were Vietnamese. We've monopolized the industry in America.
Yes.
Fascinating when you look at it. I mean, we own the majority of standalone nail salons in the whole country. And growing up, I saw a lot of things. I mean, when we would get picked up from school and go out to the nail shop. So I just really was on the inside of the industry and knew a lot of things. And when I went to college and started getting my nails done, I started having different experiences because my parents weren't doing my nails anymore, but I would go to these different nail salons and they were subpar, they were awkward, they were interesting. And then I also kind of know when a group of immigrants escape from a country, there's a lot of trauma that gets brought over.
Yes.
And a lot of that gets brought into the business and
Yes.
how they operate, how they think. And a lot of it is scarcity based. A lot of it is fear based. A lot of hustle mentality, a lot of, just being very protective and not wanting to share wealth. So that's kind of the environment that you get a lot of times in these places. And I knew that I did not want to create that. When I was younger, I actually was vowed that I would never go into nails.
I'll never do what my parents did.
My mom wanted me to, and I was like, nope, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it.
So did you create a mission for your business? What is it?
Before I had anything else planned out, the first download that came to mind if I were going to go and start a nail salon was I wanted to create a place where people loved going to work every day. That was pillar number one. And then I started formulating ideas of how can we modernize this experience. I find that the nail industry was still very delayed and lagging compared to other beauty services like hair or facials. And it was hard at that time to still find a place where you can book online.
Oh, yes.
A lot of times I don't even take appointments. And you kind of got to go in there and you got to just hope that you can take you. And if they don't, they ask you to wait 5 minutes and it ends up being 25 minutes. And that was largely the experience. And I was just like, there's got to be something different. I started saying that in my 20s. I remember saying someone needs to just create a different experience in the nail space. It's not going to be me, but someone needs to do it. So when I was doing my soul searching after leaving corporate, that idea kept coming back in, and I kind of pushed it away for a while. It's I don't want to do that. And that's when I decided to, start a coaching business, do some training. You asked if there was training. And I think when you have never ran a business before, I think you should always have some kind of support.
100%.
It could save you a lot of time and errors.
It's very interesting because a lot of times when we have a calling, it's there's a part that goes, what are you talking about? You can't do that. Why would you do that? And so you kind of just put it to the side, but it always comes up to the surface because it's a calling. And so, if I were going to come to your spa, tell me from beginning to end, what do I get?
That's a great question. We train on this extensively. I always talk to my team about the customer journey, right? So we'll use Cynthia as the avatar. When Cynthia finds us, what is her experience from the moment she finds us online in Google or however she heard of us, to when she books, to when she walks in the doors. So we want to make sure you are greeted every time, by a warm greeting. If it's not someone that is standing right there, someone nearby knows to say, hi, welcome in. We'll be right with you. Or obviously my receptionist will be up front. And then there's just a flow, I call it the initial flow, right? So there's some certain things we'll say to let you know we'll be right with you, or your nail artist is actually going to be up there greeting you and taking you back to your seat, to walk you back to where you're sitting, or you're seated in the waiting area. And then your experience with your nail artist is very unique, and each of them, I encourage them to have their own personality, and they do, like different people connect with different people. So I actually love to do like a matchmaking when people ask to book with me, because I know like maybe which of my staff members would just vibe with you or with your style, or maybe the kind of conversation you like to have. Connection, warmth, authenticity. And we also want to be really conscious about your needs. We don't want to force a conversation. We don't want to be yapping the whole time. If we can tell, and I do some training on this, is if you just need some quietness, if you just need to sit there and be serviced and be taken care of and not have to engage in a convo, we'll read for that too. And then we just want to make sure, you're taken care of before you leave, letting you know when you should come back. Anything we have going on, promotions, events, things like that, we want to make sure we let you know. And then definitely want to make sure we book you before you leave.
Wow. Well, that's beautiful. It's really interesting because when I was in Prague, I needed to get my nails done. And I went online and looked for something. And it was a small place, but I was surprised when I walked in that the woman stood up and said, "Oh, I'm so happy that you're here," and asked me what I wanted. And there were two other nail people there. And she goes, "Oh, you need to be with her. She'll take good care of you." And all of a sudden, I felt very important and very special, which is what you're saying.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So you've been doing spiritual work, and you've been doing self-improvement, but learning about development. Why?
Great question. So my spiritual work, actually, everything all came together for me in 2019, which is also when I started becoming an entrepreneur for the first time with the coaching business and the nail spa. And I'll come back to that. I started doing personal development when I was maybe 18. A guy that I was seeing at the time was graduating from a weekend course, and he wanted me to come to his graduation. And I liked him. So I said, okay, of course. And then, of course, when you're there, they recruit you and enroll you. And you've probably heard of a lot of these seminars and programs, but I got hooked. It was like, at 18, 19, it was like access to power that I didn't know that I had. I grew up just with a lot of insecurity, hypercritical parents, again, a lot of just unresolved trauma being passed on. And it, when I realized like, okay, there's a lot of subconscious layers to how I'm being that I can actually access and shift, it was like crack. I was like there, and when you go in there, there's more and more and more. And so once I started, I never really stopped. I always was in some program or a book or something.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I've always been a seeker, from the time I was little. And I went through this master's program in spiritual psychology. And it was amazing to be in a room of 200 people all wanting to go deeper into their spiritual awareness. So all of this work that you've done, right? Tell me, how does this, when I was reading your bio, it was talking about, your outer world is a mirror of what's happening interior. Mm-hmm. And so talk to me about how you teach that and how, maybe what you learned for yourself.
Yeah, thank you. I would say right now, how I'm teaching it is embodying it more so than actually outwardly teaching. I know that there's a time for that at some point for me, but I'm just full on focused on embodiment. How can I walk the walk? How can I be the example to model for others, but really just to do it for myself right now. And so everything in your world is a reflection of who you are on the inside, of what you feel on the inside, your thoughts, your vibrations, your beliefs. I mean, I would come down to say like every single experience that you have and everything that you're seeing. So if I know that, then boy, it's a bit of a mind trip, right? Because
100%.
Gosh, you have to take responsibility, and you're like, this thing I don't like, or this thing I've been struggling with for years and years, I'm actually choosing that in a way.
Yeah. Okay, this is going to sound like a crazy question. Have you written a book?
No, not yet.
But there's one coming.
Yes, and you know what's so funny? Driving here, I knew you were going to ask me that question. I totally did. I like saw it, and then I was like, okay, what do I tell her? I think one day, absolutely.
Yeah, because your story is amazing. I mean, it's where you came from, the things that your culture is still dealing with on certain levels, and how you can step outside of that and create something that is beautiful and welcoming. I mean, I'd buy the book.
Oh, thank you. my first buyer.
Amen. Amen. So I guess I want to know, it's like you got this successful business and you clearly are training people to be conscious in the workplace. Why is that important?
Well, you had just touched on, a group of people, a generation and an entire group of people in my homeland that live with so much trauma just over the years and the wars and oppression and poverty, deep, deep poverty. I mean, with both of my parents and how they grew up and their parents dying at a very young age. And, if you were talking just in the nail salon industry, I mean, that's a lot of what I see in business. And so even to just bring some light and some healing and some love to their hearts, they will show up differently in business. They will take care of their guests, when they're doing their services differently. And then just in general, I think that when you have conscious tools and you can see yourself and you have the tools, I think that's important because like if you're going to open Pandora's box, just have some support, have some tools, find some people that can help you because it's not for the faint-hearted.
Right.
But it'll give you access to freedom, even if it's just little by little, more joy, more wholeness, purpose. And then when we access that, we continue to spread it to people just naturally.
What's beautiful about what you're saying is that you are inadvertently training people to be leaders and conscious in their own lives. And then that translates to being in service to other people because we all want to feel powerful. We all want to feel important and that we're making a difference. And I'm sure that the people that you work with, your team, that they come in one way and they transform into something else, that they either stay and give or go somewhere else and share.
Oh, I would love to hope so.
Yeah.
I really do. And sometimes, frustrations happen, things happen, and then I question, is anyone even hearing me? Mm-hmm. Is this even worth it, all this effort, me trying to literally raise the vibration of our whole space and everyone in it? And then I'll have other moments where I'm reminded that, oh, yeah, she just repeated something that I said weeks ago, and I would have never thought that she would see that situation that way. So something's working.
It's beautiful. Tell people how they find you, how they get in touch with this fabulous spa experience.
Yes. So I'm located here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Our spa is actually up the street from where we're right now on Scottsdale and Shea. You could find us on Instagram at Pampr'd Soul, and it's spelled Pamprd, our unique spelling, Pampr'd Soul. And then you can connect with me on Instagram also at Lana Dang.
Well, I ask the same last question of every guest on my show. The show is called Women Awakening. Why do you think it's important for women to awaken at this moment?
Whew. Because it's time. And we've gone through this very dense and interesting human experience for, can't give you the exact time, but a very long time, years and years and years. And the planet is shifting, the collective energy is shifting. There's a lot of things happening. And it's like the divine is calling on women to remember.
Yes.
Remember our power.
Absolutely. Well, you are an example of that, and I'm so grateful to know you. I'm so grateful that you came to be on the show.
I am so grateful to be on your show, Cynthia, and thank you for your fabulous, heart-opening questions.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. I mean, just tap into the energy you just felt from Lana. A heart soul, a giving soul, someone committed to her own growth, but also to the growth of others. This is important because your energy and your authenticity matters. What you give to yourself and give to others can be transformative. I hope you love the show, that it made a difference for you, that you will subscribe, review us, visit cynthiajames.net, and please remember how incredible you are. You are a masterpiece in the making. Make no doubt about it. I love you. I will see you next time.